What if I told you you could decode God? Or, in other terms, work with the energy and vibration of the universe to align your life and your actions with the Tao or the natural flow of God? Before we dive into how this is going to work with a few different tools like numerology, astrology, and tarot and oracle, and synchronicities as well, I want to define God for the context of this video. God is from one perspective, maybe a more scientific perspective, the fundamental underlying electromagnetic current or field of reality. It's the substance that underlies all things. It's the unit of measurement that is so small it cannot be measured. It's smaller than the quark or the plank. If the quark or the plank is the smallest unit of possible measurement, then what is that substance made of? The answer is God. Another way to put it is the Tao. The Tao, as Lao Tzu says in the Tao Te Ching, cannot be named. It is underlying all words. Now, over the years, in the course of history, humanity has devised different tools or maps to help understand the Tao, or the flow of the universe, or God. Those tools have looked like astrology, they've looked like metaphysical teachings, they've looked like science, quantum physics, they look like numerology, or they look like fundamental religion. And I'm not here to choose one over the other. I see all these branches of philosophy and tools as manifestations of God or explanations. This symbol right here, Metatron's cube, is what it's called in sacred geometry. I think it does a good job of explaining what I'm trying to explain. So if God is this central underlying substance of the universe, the most integral part of reality, everything that is made of God, and God is in all things. These different maps and tools are merely mirrors that point back to the central aspect, focal point of reality or the universe, which is God. And so you could see astrology here, Western astrology here, Vedic astrology here, numerology here, science here, religion here, tarot here, and they all create a mirror that reflects back this fundamental aspect. It gives us perspective. These outside circles allow us to have perspective on that which is at the center. So what we're going to go through in this video is 3 main tools that I work with every day, and I'm going to teach you how to do this too, so that you can decode God and, practically speaking, in your life, work with the subtle energies that are happening in the universe to help guide your actions. So we're going to start with numerology. Numerology is the philosophy that every number has a vibration. And it's also the philosophy that no number is a coincidence. And so we're going to get into working with this every day. And like when you see a number on the time, what does it mean? When you see a license plate, the number is there. What does it mean? They're all speaking to you. There's no coincidence. Everything is God manifested in form. Numerology is one way to decipher the code of God. And by understanding that each moment is a synchronicity at the highest level of consciousness, each moment where a number reveals itself to you in the environment is God revealing himself, itself. So in numerology, every number has a specific vibration, which we're going to talk about what each number means in the next slide. But to start understanding how does each number have a different vibration, a very simple analogy would be, if I have one pen, this represents the number 1. It's a linear direction. It's a straight line. That actually is a similar representation of the vibration of the 1 energy. It's very direct, leader energy, initiation. So this is 1. When I add another pen to connect it, this is 2. Now it's balanced. Now it's more in harmony. Now it's essentially, if it was 3-dimensional, it'd be a square. And then you continue on. 3 is a triangle, 4 more of a rectangle, etc., etc. So when you actually see a physical expression of a number, if you draw it out in space or you see it in space, it has a different vibratory pattern. And that's what we're getting into here. So everybody has a life path number. Your life path number is another way to read your inherent frequency. Another way to think about it is, just as astrology is a read on your inherent frequency, numerology is also another read. And so you can calculate your own life path number by adding up every date in your birthday. I'm going to add up a random date to give you an example. Let's say somebody was born on December 18th, the year 2000. So what you would do is you would go 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 1, 4, plus 8, 12, plus 2, 14. 1 plus 4, 5. So you're basically adding all things up sequentially and reducing them to a single number. Now, there are a few numbers that don't get reduced, 11, 22, 33, 44, because they're master numbers. And if you're one of those, it's very rare. But a 5, for example, is very adventurous, freedom-seeking energy. That's what I am. And it definitely encapsulates my unique frequency. Now, my secondary number is a 3, the communicator, the writer, the speaker. And so the 5-3 combination is the combination of somebody who's an adventurous freedom seeker, self-expressive philosopher type, you could say, that expresses themselves through writing and speaking. Very resonant with my energy. And now connecting this to real life, when I see a 5 anytime, right now it's 2:55. What does that mean? 5-5. Okay, express this. This is adventurous. This is creative. This is something most people don't know about, but I've gone and explored because I'm a 5. It's also written in my astrology chart, Human Design, that I'm meant to explore these weird esoteric ideas and bring them to you. So every time you first know your life path number and then it shows up for you on a license plate, on a day of the week, on the clock, you can interpret it to mean, to ask, what is this saying for me in this moment? Now let's switch to the life year number. Every year, you are entering a new life year. And again, it goes 1 through 9. And we're going to go through what those numbers mean in a second. But basically, that same person's birthday, 12, 18, the year they're born doesn't matter for the life year, because it matters what year is it now. So it would be this year. So it'd be 1 plus 2, 3, plus 1, 4, plus 8, 12, then 20, 25. So it'd be 14, 16, 21, 2 plus 1, 3. That person would be in a life year number 3. What does that mean? A life year number 3, this person is meant to deepen into their creativity and communication, because remember, 3 is the writer or the speaker. So this person in this year of life, in their most aligned frequency with the universe, the Tao God, would be stepping deeper into their creativity and self-expression. Now, daily numbers. Every day of the week also has a number when you add it up. So today is August 10th, 2025. If you add up 8 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 5, it's 9. So today's a 9 day. What does that mean? 9 ends cycles, completion, closing things up, putting them in order, getting ready for the next cycle. And it's very resonant with how I'm approaching my day today. And I'm going to teach you as well in this video how to work with these energies every single day to guide you into non-linear reality and actualizing your highest timeline. Now, different numerical vibrations. You could take a screenshot of this if you want. You can also just look it up and find similar things. But based on that life path number, you can understand yourself. I'll give you a few examples that are quite interesting. 1, leader, initiator, willing to put themselves out there, be bold. Andrew Tate is a double 1. He's a life path 1, and he's born on December 1st. Secondary number 1. The secondary number comes from the day you're born on. So if you're born on the 18th, it'd be 1 plus 8, 9. If you're born on the 1st, it'd be 1. If you're born on the 11th, it doesn't reduce. It stays as 11 because 11 is a master number, as well as 22, 33, and 44 would be as well. So you could take a screenshot of this, look up your life path number, and see. I have a kid I'm doing a coaching program with right now who's an 8-1. This dude is meant to be a powerhouse builder and leader in the material world. Very powerful. I have a few very close friends and partners in different domains that are 11s, visionaries. 11s usually take longer to mature in a way, or like to fully reach their highest potential. They have crazy high potential, but it takes some time for them to actualize it. Many of the greatest writers and speakers I know are 3s. Adventurer philosopher, like I said, is mine. Alan Watts is a 5, which I thought was very interesting. Somebody else you might know if you're watching this video is Dan Coe, is a 22. Or I think that's his secondary number, but he's a 22. Some of the most mystical people I know are 7s and 9s. So you can look into your unique vibration based on your life path number and your secondary number. And then you can look at what year you're in. So for me, I'm entering a 2 year. Now, if you look deeper into what is the vibration of 2, it's the peacemaker, but it really means balance, partnership, harmony, fairness, intuition, because 1 is very masculine, 2 is feminine. And so I'm already noticing it in my life in the past week or so after turning my next birthday and being in this 2 year. More partnership is coming into my life in many different aspects of my life. And it feels like I have to do less. I just have to be more intuitive and flow. It's very interesting. Whereas last year, it was like all doing everything by myself, taking bold leaps, new action, having to figure a lot of things out for myself. And then next year, I look ahead and like it makes a lot of sense that it's going to be 3. It just feels right. And then you can kind of track things over the years, how it's going to evolve for you. So you look and you see, okay, I'm in a 8 year. What does that mean? This year is about me accumulating material wealth. This is a year about me stepping into my power, for example. Cool. So the last thing here is every day has a vibration as well. So again, depending on how you add it up, August 10th, 2025 is a 9-day. So yeah, it's humanitarian, but it also means to end cycles, to put things in order. So today, and it's great that it falls on a Sunday, it's a great day to finish certain projects up, get them ready for that one day, that initiation tomorrow. So you can look up the number every day. That's what I do. And I'm building a software for you to be able to get the numerology vibration of that day and the astrology positions for that day. And it's going to tell you exactly how that energy is going to impact you today and how maybe you can seek to align yourself with that energy. That's the key. We're not using this as dogma, but we're using it as a code to help us tune in to the fabric of reality. Cool. Now let's go to astrology. So at this point, hopefully you looked up your life path number and you're starting to get a little bit of a sense for it. Maybe you screenshotted this, whatever. Now we'll go to astrology, and it's another way to decode God. So if I go into the core fundamental principle of astrology, a lot of people are very skeptical. They're like, how does it work? It doesn't make sense. Here's the best explanation that I've heard. When you came into the world, before you had a name, before you had a personality, you were a certain frequency. You were born as a fractal of God, a fractal of the universe, at a certain time and space in this third dimensional reality that we live in, relative to all of the other stars and planets in the universe. And if we know from Isaac Newton's laws, everything has a gravitational pull on everything else. This pen, even though it's extremely subtle, has a gravitational pull on Pluto. And if you don't believe this, just ask a woman about their ovulatory cycles. They align with the moon. Look at the ocean at a high tide or a low tide. It aligns with the moon. But yet, many rationals, especially the men, for whatever reason, a lot of men, dismiss it and say it can't be real. I see ignorance and closed-mindedness, or a certain perspective of being so trapped in a fundamentalist ideology or religion that they won't even contemplate that there might be more to this reality than they could see. But that's another topic. And if you're still watching this video, it's probably not you. Now, so, okay, when you're born at a certain time in space when every other planet has a particular relationship to you. And because they have a magnetic gravitational pull that affects you and you're interconnected with, then obviously, in the course of your life, the space of those planets create a very subtle vibrational impact on you. And your unique positions across all the planets, which are right here, which we'll go into in a second, have different impacts on you. And they are different expressions of you. So your romantic self is related to your Venus placement. Your aspect of self that is maturing and here to learn lessons is the Saturn placement. There's also a bunch of little subtle placements that are very interesting to look into. And once you start to see it, you're like, it makes so much sense. I should probably have known this earlier. The part of fortune is your path to abundance. For example, Mercury, the planet of communication, it's your communication style. And this is your ideal optimal frequency. Some people start to ask the question about free will. Oh, if my astrology chart's like this, my numerology is like this, do I have free will? My answer is always yes, because you can choose in this moment to raise your hand or not. And so what that means is this is just your code. You can either choose to become the highest expression of that code, reach your highest potential, or completely dismiss it and not listen to your inner voice, not listen to God within you, become more and more separate from reality, which is the fundamental sin, illusion. And then you do not complete your cosmic mission. Your soul does not complete its cycle. You have to continue reincarnating. And you just didn't actualize your potential in this lifetime. And so you got to come back and try again, essentially. So in astrology, there's Western and Vedic astrology. Western astrology is, you can think of it simply as personality psychology based. Vedic astrology, which is Indian astrology, is more spiritual, soul based. So there's different aspects of you that it touches on. And why this is because Vedic astrology is a more ancient system. It's been around for allegedly a couple thousand years, but in actuality, more probably like hundreds of thousands of years, because much of history is an illusion too. But Vedic astrology has a certain mathematical calculation that accounts for the wobble of the planets in space relative to Earth over time. So each year there's a certain shift in the degrees and angles of Earth related to the moon, the sun, etc., and the entire cosmos. Vedic, or sidereal, you maybe have heard of it as, accounts for that wobble with a specific mathematical calculation, which keeps it more aligned with the true cosmos, which is your true nature, which is your spiritual self. Whereas Western was a system devised by, I think, Ptolemy, like 2,500 years ago in Greece. But it was a fixed calculation. It did not account for the wobble. And so now, 2,000, 3,000 years later, the degree that Western astrology is off of Vedic astrology, which is really the cosmic truth, is about 23 degrees. So when most people say, I'm a Leo, they're really, in their soul is a Cancer, but their material worldly appearance is Western. Another way to think about this is Western astrology is based on the Earth's seasons. It's always on the same spring equinox and fall equinox and solstices. And Vedic changes subtly every year because it's accounting for the shifts in the sky. So Western is much more of how does your worldly personality, ego, self present, and Vedic is much more of your soul level self. So they're both valuable, right? Jesus said, be in the world, but not of the world. Your Western chart will help you be in the world to your highest capacity. Vedic will help you be not of the world and know that your nature is spirit to the highest capacity. So I work with both, and I see that they subtly help me understand myself on different levels. My worldly self presents much more as Leo, but my soul is really more Cancer. So we'll continue on here. You can take a screenshot of this as well. What I would recommend doing is look up your astrology chart. I can drop a link in the description too for you guys to look up your chart and then start asking ChatGPT questions. Be like, hey, my Mercury is in Libra. What does that mean? What's the highest expression of that? What's the lowest expression? I also do readings myself. I'll talk more about it later in the video in what my coaching program is like. But I offer a one-on-one call in addition to a full program if you want to get a reading on all these different aspects: astrology, numerology, human design, etc. And we can really decode your chart and ideally align you with your highest timeline. So let me tell you about how I use this today. Today, August 10th, 2025, if you look it up, and this is why I'm creating this software, so that you don't have to look it up, it's just going to be sent to you. Super cheap too. Like, fuck, we're going pretty cheap, so it's very accessible. The Western moon, and of course there's so many other signs that are impacting this, but for the purpose of this video, we're not going to take like the deepest dive into astrology right now. It's just beyond the scope. Again, like if you want to work with me one-on-one, we can really dive deep so you can work with these energies. But today, the Western moon, remember, Western is personality self, worldly self. Moon is mind, subconscious world, and emotional world. The mind, subconscious, emotional world. We could probably add mind there. The moon, Western moon, is in Pisces. Pisces is visionary, imaginative energy. So that means today in the mind, the mental world is a place to go into visionary mode a little bit. Think about the future. Identify big visions. And it ties into Vedic. So Vedic, which is the spiritual self, the moon is very similar. It's the mind, subconscious, emotional world. Aquarius is the sign of freedom, decentralized freedom, individuality, expression, autonomy. So the Vedic moon being in Aquarius is a day to either express that freedom, do your own thing, have space to yourself, or if you start to combine the energies, and that's the entire point of this, like you're combining them like a puzzle piece, or like you're cooking them together in a way, is Pisces plus Aquarius is, can you shift into visionary mode about visualizing your ideal future and focus on the energy of freedom and humanitarian causes. And the humanitarian also connects here to the 9, which we'll get into in a second of how they all connect. But Pisces, visionary, Aquarius, decentralized, freedom. That might start to click some things together in your mind. It has for me when I'm thinking about projects. Today's been much more of a visionary day. Aquarius has been much more about how do we get these to everybody as easily as possible. And how do I retain my maximum autonomy and freedom in the process? Now you add the numerology 9 day in there, and that's a day to finish cycles, close loops. So I'm not going to speak it until it manifests, but there's a project that I've been cooking on in the background that I'd like to attempt to finish today because it's a 9 day. And I see how that project is going to connect to this decentralized higher freedom for myself and everybody involved in that project. And it's shifting me more into visionary Pisces mode. So it's all connected. Tomorrow, we can even look, right? Tomorrow is going to be a 1 day to take initiation action. It's a Monday too, which is great. So, like, what are you going to get to work on? What are you going to start on? I believe the moons will be staying the same because they stay for like 2.5 days. So tomorrow should be the same. But again, I check every day. But tomorrow, it's like, okay, the visions have been started to be created today, ending, closing other loops. Now taking action on those visions tomorrow. That's how I see it connecting in my head. And every day carries a particular vibration that you can work with. So if you check these every day, you learn what all the signs mean, you learn what all the numbers mean. Bang. Like, you are really aligning with the flow of the cosmos. Last here is tarot and oracle. So I'm going to explain the difference if this is new to you. Tarot cards are more archetypal energies. They're more story based. So these cards, like the Sun and Ace of Cups, are tarot cards. These are also tarot cards here that I have right here. So I have the King of Swords and I have the Page of Cups. I'll tell you what that means in a second. The first card I pulled though today, and I don't pull them every day, but like if I feel I want to, or if I get some type of intuitive download, or I receive guidance from higher spirit or spiritual beings in my environment, which is probably another topic for another video, I'll pull the card and it'll guide me in sometimes absolutely magical ways. Like the other night, I was on the phone with my friend and he mentioned this one spiritual guru named Kuan Yin. And about an hour later in our conversation, I moved over to my desk. I had this amazing, beautiful deck called the Ascended Masters deck of oracle cards. And again, I was listening to guidance from my environment and sounds and animals and spirits, I should say. And I did one shuffle and then I tapped the top card. I'm like, is this it? And I got yes. So boom, I pulled it. It was Kuan Yin. And it was just like, this is fucking magical. And that has happened so many times over the past year. And I don't publicly talk about it. It's just like, it happens so often, it's not even worth sharing anymore. But it is, in a way, because it's actually magic. But once you realize the fundamental nature of reality is magic, these things just become normal, like everyday life. Like synchronicities never stop. So I got this card today. The first one I saw was see the other person's point of view. And when I was creating this video, I was originally just had a Google Doc and I was just going to talk to the camera sitting here. But then I was like, okay, if I was the viewer, what would I want? I would want to see some type of cooler graphic or visual. So I was like, okay, let me shift into that person's point of view and make a really nice design for this person. I may have not thought of that unless this card appeared. Then I was debating, like, oh, should I record this? I'm a little bit tired, a little bit. But I'm going to do it anyways. I got this Ace of Sword. Make the decision. Cut the sword. Do it. And then this Page of Cup is what the creative project that I want to finish later, which I'm, again, not going to say yet. So oracle cards are more like calling in energies. Maybe we just do one for this video for fun, just to see. One of the ones I just saw was Kuan Yin, which is funny. So right now, here's kind of what I would maybe do. I would look at the time and be like, what time is it? Are there any numbers popping out to me? It's 3:16. The 3 feels resonant, and it's 30 minutes on this timer, the video. So I'm going to go 3 shuffles. Let's see what pops up. Interesting. Father, husband, brother, son. So what that pops in my mind is I want to go hang out with my dad for a little bit after I make this video. So, and again, I just saw 34. That's like his number. So that's how this kind of works. Like, it's time to let this video go. I think it's done, and hang out with him for a few more minutes. So, last thing here, Signs, symbols, and synchronicities. So once you, this is going back to numerology more so, once you know what each number means, and of course it's 317 on my clock right now. Once you know what each number means, every single number that appears in your environment starts to change in form. The license plate starts to mean something new. You can decipher it. The time on the clock means something new. The day of the week means something new. And every single moment becomes like a tarot card in a way, where you're connecting with non-linear reality. And for most people, this is just absolutely incomprehensible because most people live their life completely in the rational mind. Whereas what this is tapping you into is non-linear, irrational reality, which is the nature of God. So start looking. Once you know the numbers and what they mean, start looking. So, like I said, I have a one-on-one coaching program where we will not only decode your unique frequency with numerology and astrology and human design and these other domains of thought, but I'm going to help you start to work with these tools on your own so that you can tap into synchronicities. My goal is to empower you. Like, I want you to be able to find God within yourself and within your own reality, just based on things that I've experienced and found myself. And also to help you unlock this next evolution in your identity, like bringing it into the practical world. Like, okay, all this information's cool. Now, what do you want to do about it? Right? You're going to be in this life, in this earth for a while. You might as well do something that's passionate, that's going to help other people. So how can you work with these metaphysical tools and understanding so that you can make a greater impact on the world? And if you made it to the end of this video, you're a very unique individual. Most people would not look at this video. So, I'm basically going to be like a mystic in your corner. And I've refrained from saying that, like, I want to be humble, of course, and I'd want to retain that humility, but like in astrology, you can look this up if you want. My chart is something called like a mystic rectangle, which basically means like I have a propensity in my spirit for mysticism, for understanding and just seeing these things. And so I'm supposed to help you find the same. So yeah, I've been working with a new guy for a week. He's a young kid, really smart. Like I said, he's an 8-1, and like within a week, he's like noticing synchronicities. He's noticing different animals appearing to him, and he knows what they mean. He's starting to read the astrology patterns. He's starting to understand his own astrology. He's understanding his numerology, all of that stuff, and he's learning to apply it to very practical business endeavors. So if you want to get into this, you can book a free intro call below. We're just going to have like a 15-20 minute chat and see if this is aligned for both of us. Or if you want to book like a full I believe it's a 60-minute call, you can book a 1-hour call as well with the second link. So you'll see both the links in the description. I'll clearly define which one is which. And yeah, would love to help you out with tapping into spirit, identifying your authentic frequency, and decoding God so that you can carry out your soul's mission and actualize your potential, create the life that you want, and help humanity in the process. So thanks for watching if you made it to the end, and spread this video around if you feel like somebody might find it interesting. Check out my other stuff, Substack, Twitter. I'm on Twitter a lot. Telegram channel, I drop some interesting insights sometimes. So yeah, check those things out in the description. Subscribe to the channel if you want more, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.